It's election time in France, fellas. Today we are going to talk about France, and you will understand why. Why are we going to talk about France today? We're going to talk about France because many African countries were colonized by France. Therefore, for some odd reasons, are still linked to France. It's election time in France, and many African countries will be impacted. In which way? The bottom line is this. It's very sad to see that many African nations want to go see the oppressors. I'll give you a simple example. Most Nigerians all want to go to London. Yeah, a lot of Ugandans want to go to London. When they don't go to London, they feel like they haven't achieved anything. A lot of Kenyans, a lot of Ghanaians want to go to London. And when you've been to London, you feel like, I was in London, your accents changed. You were drinking some water in London. So the same thing applies with French colonization, French colonies, French-speaking countries in Africa. They all want to go to Paris. Okay? Gabonese people, Senegalese, Cameroonian, they all want to go to France. Ivorian, all of them want to go to France. It's like if you've never been to France, it's like you've never achieved something important in life. It's like Mecca for Muslims. So fellas, things are going to change, and I think it's very important that we understand this from this spectrum. And I think it's very important that we understand this from this lens of Africans. Now, what's happening in France right now? There is a massive right of extreme right, meaning the extreme right is gaining popularity and a lot of French people are voting for them. Now we need to understand why French people are suddenly voting for the extreme right. Apparently France was a liberal country. They wanted people to come together. That's what we thought. France accepted man and man relation, you know what I mean, and many other things. What has happened? What has happened to the public of France? The bottom line is, a political party named the National Rally or Rassemblement National has won the first round at 34%. That's a massive amount, shrinking Emmanuel Macron's party to bit. This is something most people didn't see. The reason for this video is for us to understand what will the impact of this election be on many African nations. Why is this important? Because again, many inhabitants from French colonies still perceive France as the big brother, as the perfect country in the world. And I know it's insane. We're going to go through this. Now, our question today is to understand why are French people voting more and more for the far right. We all understand what the far right is all about. Far right don't want you there. They want you to stay in your country. No, you're not welcome. You can stay in your country and be with your people. Far right people don't believe you should run away from your country. It is your responsibility to fight your government. If it's a crazy government, you need to come together and overthrow them if that's necessary. Far right doesn't believe they should share what they have with you because it's theirs. You should go build your own hospitals, create your own businesses, make sure your country is moving forward, and it's within that basis of respect that we can cooperate appropriately. Now, many people say far right people are racist. Are they really racist, or are they just looking to look out for themselves? So what does the National Rally propose? Fellas, many black people in France are shaking right now. They're scared. A lot of them know they're going to lose their residency. They're going to lose the advantages they're getting because a lot of Africans get money almost for free in France for just being a refugee. And unfortunately, even though among those there are many that are refugees, some of them are not even refugees, but are profiting and abusing the system. Now, let's find out if this makes sense. What does the National Rally propose for the people? They propose to exempt people aged under 30 from income tax. You hear that? So if you're under 30 years old, you don't have to pay tax. Let me remind you here that France is one of the most expensive countries in the world when it comes to income tax. Now, if they say they're going to exempt people under the age of 30 from income tax, do you think those people concerned will refuse to vote for them? Is that a good thing for them as French people or not? You let me know. The National Rally is proposing a construction of 100,000 student accommodation. This is a measure to tackle difficulties they're facing right now. Now, do you feel those students that are French are going to be not okay with this? You let me know. The National Rally, the far-right party, is proposing financial support for students in France. So if you're a student and you're working student, and you're doing good at school, they're going to give you extra money for that. Is this good for them or not? Let's be fair here. You let me know. The National Rally pledged to end French citizenship, under which children born of two foreign parents in France automatically obtain French citizenship at the age of 18. I think we all understand this. So normally in France today, you can be from Kazakhstan or from Zambia. You just need to get to France. You make a baby with your Kazakhstan husband and your baby will automatically be French. Now they say we don't want that anymore because there are way too many people on earth. We cannot support that. Unfortunately, many people go to their country. They don't necessarily like the country as the country. They just like the advantages that come with the country. So they say they are stopping that. The new condition is this one. The child must reside in a country by the time they turn 18 and have lived in a country for at least 5 years since the age of 11. So by the time the child is 11, the child must have lived in a country for about another 5 years for them to qualify for citizenship. This is to avoid people coming into the country, just making babies and getting citizenship and going back to their heart country. Why are they doing this? Because they feel like many people are not necessarily French. Even though they have French passport, they are acquired kindly from the country. But their loyalty is still with their country of origin. So the National Rally will also impose restriction on family reunification by introducing additional conditions regarding employment and income. So normally people will go to France, okay? You go, you narrate a story, you say, well, I was attacked by rebels and stuff like that. And the French government will make sure they call your family that was strained in a country of origin. Now, let's say you have a wife. You ran away from the country because people were looking to kill you. You have a wife and children. The French government will make sure that your wife and children come to France and be with you because you're a legal refugee. Then they say, okay, give us a list of your family members. They will take children from their uncles, children from the extended family members, all included into the list of the children that he bears. So you see somebody perhaps that's 35 years old with 6, 7, 8 children that are not necessarily his children. Some of them are his cousins. So in the beginning, it's worked. They imported in France many people from Africa who were not necessarily related to them. They started accusing each other. How? When they ever fight with each other, you go accuse your neighbor to the police. You say, in fact, you see my neighbor, all these children are not his children. 5 of his children are not even related to him. What did the French government started doing? They started doing DNA tests to confirm whether whoever you declare as dependent is actually a relative to you. So I'm not saying Africans were the only people to do that. In fact, some Asians did that too, but they never fought each other or accused one another. Let's continue. The plan to reduce access to medical services for illegal immigrants to emergencies only. So as immigrants who are illegal, they will only get medical services in case of emergencies. In other words, they're going to make sure that whatever they have as resources is enough for the people of the country first. French country people first. Immigrants only for emergencies. Is that a good thing for them or not? Many people don't like it very much. The French police force will automatically benefit from presumption of self-defense in cases involving violence. Meaning, if there's a situation where the French police hurt somebody, they will presume it was a presumption of self-defense. So the police was trying to defend themselves. That's a big gap because I feel like then many French policemen will abuse of their authority, saying that, well, I was being attacked. I shot him because I was being attacked. I was defending myself. Is that a good thing for them or not? Let me know. When it comes to job, certain job will only be exclusively for French-born, French natural people, not immigrants, not people holding double nationalities. They will place a ban on dual nationals holding jobs in sensitive strategic positions, such as defense. This will be reserved to the French. In other words, this means for positions like army, police, security, they're going to reserve that to only French people. And when I say French, I mean white French people, not immigrants, not descendants of immigrants, not people holding 2 passports. Is that good for them or not? Because they feel like they can only trust somebody who's really embedded into the culture, somebody that's faithful to the nation. Like, how faithful are you to a nation to that level if you have 2 nationalities? You have 2 citizenships. How do we know you're not spying for the other people as well? Will you say to them that you're more loyal to us than you are to them? You certainly will not. How do we know that you're loyal to us more than you're loyal to them? That's a big question. So they're going to reserve key position to only French-born, white French people. Is that a good thing for them or not? Okay, fellas. So very quickly, number 1, so we can understand. Why French citizens are choosing the far-right movement, meaning they don't want foreigners in their countries anymore, because that's what it is. The far-right has proposed tax exemption for 30 years old. No more tax for 30 years old. The far right will build 100,000 student accommodation. The far right will provide financial assistance to working students, so money for students. No more automatic citizenship for children born in France or foreign parents. The child must stay in France for at least 18 years and must have lived in France by the age of 11 for at least 5 years. You're going to place a restriction on family reunification. No more, I am in danger in my country, therefore I need you to bring my wife, my cousin and stuff. Finish, no more of that. You go by yourself. Your cousin is not in danger. They're going to reduce medical access for illegal immigrants. No more free access, only for emergencies. If you hurt, if you got shot, you're in a car accident, maybe. If it's none of that, you're not going to access. Limited to French people. The French policy will automatically benefit from presumption of self-defense. So if a Frenchman fight with somebody and he hurt them, they will presume the French policeman was in danger. Sensitive strategic position will be reserved to French naturally born people. So white French people will occupy key position as defense, army, prime minister, presidency and stuff like that because they want to be able to trust somebody for sure. So that's what it is, fellas. Now, do you understand why French people are voting for the right? Do you think it makes sense for them? Is it okay for a country to provide for them first, for them people first? Is it racist to say I want to have medical assistance for my people first? I want to reduce it to my people because there's too many people looking for it for free. Is it racist to say, no, you cannot access key position in government if you're not 100% French? Is it racist to say we're going to limit accommodation for our children first? You guys have to pay. Is it racist? Let me know how you feel about this. Does it make sense for French people to vote? What alternative do Africans have? I think they need to stop perceiving France as God. France is not God. France is not paradise. France is not your liberation country. You need to build your countries. I mean, if you want to go somewhere else, at least go to another African country. If they want you there and you're bringing something important, some resourceful, interesting things, like if you're a creator, you're a computer programmer, or you got something interesting that the country needs, that makes sense. What's very clear is this racism or just people trying to look out for themselves? Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. God bless.